Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be when she's tired before date and needs to be home early. I've got an email. This is from a guy. He says several times he's made dates with women, and it's usually after the first or second date, and there's a lot of heavy making out going on. He says what happens is when he sets the next date, they tell him that they're tired and that they need to be home early. And so he says he wonders if it's a test, and it's a sim test, and he shouldn't be giving attention to women that aren't into him. He says, however, he's still gone forward with the date, and on a couple occasions, he still seduced the women that were saying they were tired. So it brings up a good point, because if you're gonna date enough, you're gonna encounter these kinds of responses. Because what you're looking for is you're looking for a woman with the attitude of, hell yeah, I'd love to go out with you. I'd love to spend time with you. I've been thinking about it from this perspective. When you reach out to one of your closest friends, you're like, hey, let's get together for a beer. Or, hey, let's go hang out and watch a game this weekend or whatever. They're like, sure, love to. That'd be great. You get enthusiasm from people that actually care about you and want to see you and want to spend time with you. And the same thing should be for the women that you're going to go out with and spend your time with. And obviously your money, if you're inviting them out to dinner or for drinks or whatever, inviting them to join you for something, it's your party. You should be paying for it. So with that said, let's go through his email. He says, hey, Corey, a question that may or may not give inspiration for a video. Well, congratulations. It gave inspiration for a video. How to react when setting the date over text and she says that she'll be tired or needs it to be a chilled one or puts a hard stop on the end of the date. He says, i.e., dinner sounds great, but just so you know, I need to leave at 10 p.m. as I have an early start the next day. So typically when you see something like that, and if the previous date you were all over each other, you got to understand, women have been through this with many times with many other guys, and so they know what the guy's expecting. The guy's expecting he's going to hook up with her on the next date. And so she's putting that out there to basically say, I'm going to be leaving early. Don't want you to think that I'm going to have sex with you or I'm going to sleep with you. But at the end of the day, a man's job is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. So you could also, in this situation, do the takeaway. And you have to properly phrase it. So, because you want to make sure she really wants to see you and is not just saying that because she's got low interest. So when she says, dinner sounds great, but just so you know, I need to leave at 10 p.m. as I have an early start the next day, then you can say, well, hey, it sounds like you're really tired and not up for it, so why don't we just do it some other time when you're excited and full of energy? And then do nothing. See what she says. If she says, okay, yeah, let's do it some other time without mentioning anything about rescheduling, then it goes, what it tells you is probably shouldn't have gone out with her anyways because she wasn't that excited to see you. But if she backs up and goes, no, I really want to see you. I just, it's been a long week. I got to get up early the next day or whatever it happens to be. So it's a way to make sure that the woman really wants to spend time with you. And that's what I would suggest for this particular guy when he gets one of those, because as you'll see in a second, some of them he's gone out with and they still ended up hooking up, and others they did not. So as a man, because you got to treat it just like you would in sales, anybody that sells cars or any kind of product where somebody has to come into the dealership, they know, salespeople know that you're going to sell somebody in person. And so you're trying to get through the people that are just kicking tires and are going to waste your time asking for lots of information, and then the people that really have interest in buying your product that you're selling, or your service for that matter. In this case, your product and service is you. And you want to make sure if you're going to spend your valuable time, which is the greatest gift you can give anybody, and your money, if you're inviting them out to spend time with you, that you want to make sure you're investing in somebody who appreciates it, who's excited to see you, and is going to make the effort to make the date fun and exciting as well. Instead of just show up with the attitude of, oh, I get a free dinner out of it, and then maybe he'll entertain me and make me laugh a little bit, and then I'll go home. So the takeaway is really powerful to use in these, because then you can know for sure if she really wants to see you Or she's like, I could take it or leave it. I mean, do you really want to go out and spend your money and time with somebody who's like, yeah, I'd really like to take a nap, but I guess I'll leave the house and I guess I'll hang out with you. Hard pass on that. He says, I've read the book and listened to the audiobook 12 times and written up keynotes from it each time, which has really helped. But I still can't figure this one out. It's happened a few times, and my notes are, number one, it always happens after the first and second date when we've made out passionately but haven't had sex. So you may have been a little too aggressive on that date. I did an email just recently, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, I think it was, where a guy goes on a date, he's making out, and he goes right for the crotch shot. Grabs her pussy right away. Grabs her by the pussy! And it's just too much too soon. You gotta be, what's the word? You gotta be smooth about it. You gotta slowly get there. I mean, accidentally grazing your nipple with your hand or your elbow or your arm or something just to see what she does as your hands are moving around as you're making out. You don't go from making out to grabbing the pussy unless you've been together for a while and you've hooked up a bunch. But when it's the first or second date, it's just too much too soon. It also shows you're not very smooth and you don't have much game and you're not that experienced. And more than likely, your sensory acuity is not where it needs to be, so the woman's going to end up feeling uncomfortable at some point because every girl's gone out with a guy that made her feel uncomfortable. And he says, number two, the girls are never actually tired if we go ahead with a date. Yeah, they're putting it out there because they've been on dates with guys that have behaved the same way, maybe gave off the same vibe, or the guys that are expecting sex, and then sometimes guys probably blow their top when they say this. What? You don't want to see me? What? You got to go home early? What? Is something wrong? Why? Why do you want to leave early? Why don't you want to spend time with me? You know, that kind of attitude. So, like I said, the best response would be the takeaway. It's like, hey, if you're really tired, we can just do it some other night when you're more up for it. And then see what she says. Don't say anything after that. Just give her the opportunity to flake out, to either follow through on your plans or to flake out and disappear from your life forever. Forever. He says, on the one hand, I don't want to look like a simp who just goes to bathe in her presence when she's effectively stated sex isn't in the cards. Like I said, the best medicine for that is the takeaway. Because then it separates from the ones who really want to see you and the ones who want to see you, but they're genuinely tired or have something to do the next day. On the other hand, I've made sex happen twice in these situations, and I believe it may be, number one, a test to confirm that I actually like her and want to spend quality time with her, not just being there for sex. And number two, it gives her an out as she feels sex is in the cards, is open to it, but wants an escape hatch if she's not feeling it in that night. I'd love to see a video on that either way. Thanks for making me a happier, more fulfilled man. You do great work. Well, thank you, Bob. Like I said, just artfully, articulately, and tactfully throw the takeaway in there to see what she says. Hey, if you're really tired and not up for it, we can just do it some other time. See what she says. She's, no, I'd really like to see you. I had a long weekend. I'm really tired, but I definitely want to see you. Great. Look forward to it. I'd make the date in that case. But if she just goes, yeah, we could do it at some other time. You get something like that back, she's not excited about seeing you. I personally would never call or text her again for any reason. But if you don't have much going on, and you're like, yeah, I'd really like to see what happens. Wait 2 weeks and then reach out and give her one more chance, and maybe she'll be in a different headspace. Maybe she'll have a better attitude then. But as the book says, we give 2 chances. If she blows both chances, you can go on down the road. Because you want enthusiasm. People that love you, that care about you, that are good for you, good to you, good for your soul, they're going to be excited at the opportunity. They're not going to jerk you around or tell you that they're going to leave early. Even if they are tired, they're going to keep it to themselves because they don't want to do anything to ruin their chances with you. But when somebody doesn't really give a shit, the takeaway is where you'll separate from the women with serious interests and the women who really don't want to go out with you. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.